guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is such a special one, and today we're going to talk about the newest launch from Kryptein Cosmetics, and this is the Secret Garden collection. We have two palettes to showcase today. We have Secret Garden 1 palette and Secret Garden 2 palette. I love both of these color stories so very much. Wait till you see all of this in action. This is gonna be such an amazing color story for spring season. Like, I feel like this is more spring summer and this is more like winter spring. I love it. They have all of the seasons covered for us. I cannot wait for you guys to see all of this in action. Let me tell you the launch details. These palettes launched on March 28th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Secret Garden 1 palette, which comes in this packaging, will retail for $59, and the Secret Garden 2 palette, which comes in this packaging, would retail for $61. You can also make your own bundle, and let me see, buy 2 palettes and get 10% off. So if you combine like Secret Garden 1 plus Secret Garden 2 together, you can get a bundle deal for $108, which is an amazing deal. You can also bundle Secret Garden palette with like Atlantis palette. That also would be $108, or you can also do 2 different size of palette together. So Secret Garden palette with like Alta palette, and that would be like $98. I feel like this is such a beautiful and a huge deal for Kryptein Cosmetics altogether. But also I have a news for international shipping. There would be free international shipping with no minimum, no code needed. And that sale would end on April 4th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so do keep all of this in mind. I do have a code with Kryptein Cosmetics. My code is Smithy Sony. It's a non-affiliated code, so it is just for you guys to save some dollars off. Now, if you guys want to see both of these palettes in action, I'm going to do one look with Secret Garden 1 palette, another look with Secret Garden 2 palette, and the third look with combining both of these palettes together, because once you combine both of these palettes, you are in heaven, okay? Now let me show you all the swatches on the screen for you guys, because the swatches are truly magical. When I swatched it, my jaw was on the floor. It is such an amazing color story, and you can mix and match these palette to another level and create some beautiful color story. I cannot wait to see like a palette bingo using these palettes. If you want to see that in action, do let me know in the comment section below. I feel like it's going to be absolutely magical. We can do so much with these palettes. Now, if you want to see all of these palettes in action, then please keep on watching. Let's begin our first look with the Secret Garden first palette. Oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how excited I am. Let's begin the look. Obviously I want to dip into everything, but I feel like I should dip into like green to pink to burgundy. I feel that's a plan. Let's see how well it get executed, okay? Okay, so I'm going to start off with that green shade, and my plan is to use one palette on each eye and then create a third look with combining both of the palettes together. So I'm going to first start off with hydrangea. This one, I know it's a flower, okay? I don't know how to express that. Okay, so this, I'm going to take that mainly in the inner part of the crease. I love when I do like the same look on both the eyes. I really love that. I am on a little bit of time crunch. I received this palette like yesterday night, and I know for a fact that this palette is getting revealed tomorrow, and I have to create all the 3 looks today for it to go out when it is revealed. So I'm a little bit on the time crunch, but if you want like 3 looks, 3 videos with each of these palettes, do let me know. I can definitely film it for you guys in the future. I'm going to take this pink shade, Oleander, and this is a beautiful, like a warmer tone pink shade. I feel like this is so apt for spring. Like these tones, they're absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take that mainly on the outer part of the crease, I would say, right there. I'm leaving the outer portion of the eyelid blank just for that burgundy. I want that green to a pink movement happening. These are very like lighter tone shades, but they're still showing up on my skin tone, which is absolutely amazing. Do your eye makeup first if you're worried about fallout. I can see a little bit of fallout, but it is not bothering me because it does flick off super easily. Now let's take that orchid shade, the deeper burgundy, and I'm gonna take that mainly in the outer portion of the eyelid, again to deepen out the eye look. You know how much I love a good burgundy, and this palette definitely needs a deeper shade to ground everything out, so this will come super handy. I cannot wait for these palettes to be combined with the other palettes that they have in their collection, because I so feel like this palette is going to be amazing with the Atlantis palette as well as Burnt Forest palette. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to do that. Do keep in mind that in this palette, this burgundy is the deepest shade in the palette, okay? I'm gonna take this on the outer corner of the lower lash line too, just right there. Going back into that pink shade, Oleander, and I'm just blending the edges so that I don't miss out the pink from the background. And I'm also taking it on the lower lash line too. And I'm gonna dip into the shade Daffodil, the yellow, and I'm gonna take that, blending the green into the inner crease, just like that. Feel like it'll brighten the eye look out and be amazing. I'm taking a smaller brush with this shade, Osmanthus, this deeper mustardy shade. That deeper mustardy shade with the burgundy would also be amazing. But right now, I'm just taking that mainly on like the waterline of the lower lash line. Okay, now time for shimmers. I cannot even wait. Okay, let's start off with this shade Peony. Let's start off with this and see, because I want to use sunflower and tulip also. But let's start off with this. Oh, it's so pretty. Peony. It's more like pink to a orange. It's like a fiery orangey pink shade. Oh, that's a good, like a blood moon shade, I would say. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I'm taking it more on like an angle. Cannot wait to put that all across my eyelid. I'm going to take that orchid shade, the deeper burgundy, just to melt it together with that peony shade. Just tapping the edges, okay? Just like that. What are we doing? What are we doing with this beautiful eyeshadow? Okay, I'm going to take this ivy shade, this green shimmer. And I'm going to take that. And mind you, I did not apply any glitter glue. I don't think that Kryptein Cosmetics shadows need any glitter glue personally, because I feel like they give enough tack in their eyeshadow for it to stick to my eyelids. Now for mending that middle, like the green to that orangey shade, I am going to take this shade Tulip, this pink shimmer that you're seeing, and I'm taking it a very tiny little bit right in the center to merge both of these shades together into each other. I feel like that's just the perfect shade to bridge them together. Now I'm going to take a very tiny little brush. I'm going to take the shade Daisy, the yellow shimmer. It's like a yellow to a pink shifting shade. I'm going to take that in the inner corner. Yep. And then sweep it in the crease, melting it with that green. Yeah, that's so pretty. Okay, this is refer number 2 mini. I feel like this is amazing. This is just amazing. Okay, let me finish off this eye with some liner and mascara. And this is my look with the Secret Garden 1 palette. I absolutely love the way how the palette is curated. You definitely can go more monochromatic and create more pink looks or more like yellow-green looks. And you can also combine these shades together to get such a beautiful seamless look. I feel like every shade in this palette is so very special and dimensional. I definitely feel they're giving you variety of shades. This sunflower shade is definitely more on the textured side, as well as Ivy. These are pretty much more on the smoother side. Lily and Daisy are the most smooth shades in this palette, and I feel like that can be such a beautiful toppery shade. Let me swatch the shimmers. live so that you can see the textural difference. So these are the first three shades. Lily. It's more like an iridescent green to a purple shifting shade. Then we have the shade Daisy, which is more like a yellow to a green shifting shade. It also has a little bit of specks of pink. Then we have the shade Tulip, which in the palette, it looks more pink, but I definitely see yellow, pink, and green. Oh, you see pink for sure. That's definitely a multi-chrome. Such a beautiful, beautiful shade. Let me swatch the next three shades too. We have Ivy, which is like a toppery shade, toppery green shade. It can be smoothened out for sure. Then we have the shade Sunflower, which is, I feel like a gray based multi-chrome. Again, this palette definitely is more on the warmer side. It definitely, all of these like shimmers do have some kind of an aspect of a yellowy, goldeny, greeny kind of look. And Peony is definitely more like a yellow, green, gold. So those are the shimmers of this palette. Of course, I'll show you all the swatches with the mattes too so that you can see all the palette in action. But I definitely wanted to live swatch the shimmers for you guys just so that you can see all the shifts in action. Such a pretty palette. Especially if you love like golds and greens, this palette is going to be for you. Okay, now let's begin our look with the Secret Garden 2 palette. You know how much I love my purples, so that is calling out to me, so nobody can stop that. I'm going to start off with the deepest shade next. So I am going to start off with this Dahlia shade. And this Dahlia is also a burgundy, but definitely much deeper than that. And I'll show you. I would say if you apply this with like a purple, it might look different. If you apply it with like a pink, it might look different because it definitely has that eggplant quality to it. So it definitely is more deep. So I'm going to start off with that in the outer corner. And you can totally see the difference, right? The beauty about it is like if you buy the bundle, you can mix and match these palettes so well together. And I feel like actually, if you have any palettes from Kryptein Cosmetics, I feel like all of them can be mismatched with each other so beautifully. Okay, so I just packed it up. I did not blend it out. So next we have to blend it out. I'm going to take this shade Carnation and I'm going to take that just to blend the edges. And you can see like a little bit of tap is all that you need to blend these eyeshadows together because they're so beautifully pigmented. I love Kryptein Cosmetics shadows, like so beautiful. Okay, now once we have that, let's move on to the purples. I am going to take this shade Iris and I am going to take that mainly as the crease shade right there. Okay, it is going to be our main crease shade today because I want that to be purple for sure. Now I also want to see it mixed and matched with the other shades, how it's going to look. So of course I am going to use a lot of shades from this palette for today's look, but again, applies to this also. If you want to see more of it in action, do let me know. I'm going to take this shade Larkspur. It's more like a periwinkle purple, definitely a different tone of purple than what I applied right now, but I just want to take that as a blending shade and see. I feel like this periwinkle purple can definitely be been treated like a blue, I would say. Very nice. Okay, now I'm going to take that color shade, the green, the pastel-y green shade, and that is going to be my inner corner pop for this eye look. Okay, just going to plop it right there for my inner corners. Now for the lower lash line, I am going to take that burgundy Dahlia shade and I'm going to take that in the outer corner of the lower lash line. I'm going to take a smaller blending brush with the shade Astama, this matte shade. I think that's the only matte shade that we've not used. I'm going to take that in the inner part of the lower lash line. And I'm gonna melt it out with this iris shade again in the outer portion. Just melt everything out just so that there is no harsh lines. Time for shimmers. I definitely want to take this rose shade. This, as when I swatched this, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Wait till you see. I'm gonna take that on the majority of the eyelid. It's a beautiful multichrome. It's like truly a rose shade with a beautiful shift of green, gold, pink. And I'm gonna take that burgundy shadow that we applied in the outer corner. And I'm just gonna tap the edges for a seamless blend. Just right there. Now I'm gonna take this shade Jasmine. This one. It's more like a sagey green to a pink shifting shade. And I'm gonna take that in the inner part of the eyelid. The fingers definitely pack more punch, so do keep that in mind. Look at that. It's day and night difference. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this one. I don't even know how to pronounce this shade. Gypsophila. I'm going to take that as my swooping shade. It's such a vibrant shade. Oh, so pretty. Let me finish off this eye with some liner and mascara. And that's my eye look with the Secret Garden 2 palette. I really love the combination of these shades too. Again, this palette would be for you if you are more into like pinks and purples. I really feel I love a good purple palette, you know that. And these shades together, there's so much more that you can do. This shade Datura, I cannot wait to play with that. That actually reminds me of like the Linda shade from the Adept Cosmetics makeup palette. I feel like there is so much of dimension in both of these palettes. I cannot wait to show you more in action because they definitely give me that tingling feeling in my tummy to play more with this palette. I love both of these eye looks that I created for you guys. Okay, now time for live swatching the shimmers of the Secret Garden 2 palette. So let's do that. I'm going to take Gypsophilia, Freesia, and a rose. Such dimensional shadows, you guys. Oh, so pretty. This is definitely a smooth multichrome. Yeah, even this is very smooth. The Freesia shade, so pretty. And then this shade Rose is the one that we applied today. Definitely a thicker but smooth shade. The first shade is more like a green to a purple shifting shade. And then we have this Freesia shade, which is more like a pinky gold green. And then Rose is definitely a multichrome. I can see gold, green, pink, rose, everything together. Or you see purple also in the second shade. Very pretty. Even in the first shade. Oh, let's move on to the next three shadows. We have Jasmine, which is that muted green to pink shifting shade. Then we have Petunia. Cannot wait to use that. That's a purple, green, blue shade. And then Datura, which is the, I think the holochrome. Definitely a multichrome. I have no idea. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see much shift in this one, the sagey green shade. This is truly a beautiful multichrome. Oh, I cannot wait to pair this with like the deep blues from the Atlantis palette. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. And this Datura shade definitely has that holochromy particles, but very fine, but super multichromy. So those are the shimmers from the Secret Garden 2 palette. Look at those shades shifting. Yeah, definitely if you are more into pinky purpley tones, I feel like this palette is gonna have your name written all over it. So pretty. Save some money. Now let's begin our third look using both of these palettes together. Okay, let's begin our third look with both of these palettes together. So let's begin. I'm gonna start off with the Secret Garden 1 And I'm gonna try and use all the shades that I've not used. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with this shade, this marigold shade. I'm gonna take that basically as like I don't have anything to set, but underneath the brow bone, just to clean everything together. And this would be a great blending shade, at least for my skin tone, I would say. It's just like one shade lighter, so to clean up any edges, that will be amazing. And I am planning for this eye look to make it more, I would say, halo eye friendly, and see how it's gonna look. Okay, so once we have that, I want to use that mustardy shade. So I'm gonna take this shade. This shade was Mantis. I know we used this in the previous look, but just on the lower lash line, and I wanna get a mix of warm tone and cool tones mixed together and see how it rolls. Maybe it's a disaster, maybe it creates magic, we don't know. We'll see. We'll see once it happens, right? And I'm gonna take that mustardy shade all across the crease. I'm not gonna focus more on the inner and the outer corner, but just creating this. And then we'll dip into the other palette for the deepest shade. So I'm gonna definitely juggle between both the palettes together today. Okay, now let's dip into that deepest shade in the palette, which is Dahlia, the shade. And I'm gonna focus that mainly on the outer corner and the inner corner of the eye. I basically tap, especially when I am in the inner corner, because that will give me the deposit, but also blend the edges seamlessly. So once we have that dipped on the extreme outer corner, I am going to take that same shade, Dahlia, on the lower lash line too, all across the lower lash line. I like a good deeper lower lash line, especially when I'm doing a halo eye. And I don't keep my center open. I just don't like that look on me. But you can definitely do whatever your heart desires. Okay, now I'm going to dip into that maroon shade, Orchid, from the Secret Garden 1. And I'm going to take that as a bridging shade. So it'll be like a yellow and a burgundy and that eggplant shade together. And I feel like these shades go so well together. There you go. And I'm also going to take that same Orchid shade again on the lower lash line, just to get that a little bit of burgundiness underneath the eye, underneath the lower lash line too. Okay, so that's how things are looking so far, and I'm very happy with the way things are looking. Okay, now time for shimmers. What are we doing? I want to take this Petunia shade, this one, this purple, blue, whatever the shade is, all across my eyelid. And I'm blending it basically out all across. First of all, it somehow, I feel like, has like a gray base to it too. Can you see that? It's such a beautiful shifting shade. Again, this is from the Secret Garden 2 palette, and we did not use this shade. Okay, now once we have that, I'm gonna take this shade, Datura, this one, and I'm gonna take that mainly in the inner corner of the eyelid. That's so pretty too. Definitely more of a toppery version as compared to the one that we applied in the center of the eyelid. I'm gonna just take and just blend the edges of everything, just so that everything is seamless. And I'm just taking nothing on my brush but the brush that we use that Dapper shade with, and I'm just blending the edges. Okay, I want to just take one more shade. Let's take this shade Lily, this one from the Secret Garden 1 palette, And this is definitely a more of a layering shade. And I'm going to take that right in the center of the eye, just for the added dimension. And that would give the yellow green that we were missing, just right in the center. I'm also going to take that same shade, just tying it on the lower lash line, just right there. Okay, let me finish off this eye with some liner and mascara. And that's my final look using both the Secret Garden 1 and 2 palette. I really love the way how this look turned out. I love a good halo eye. That's not a news to anybody. But also the way both of these palettes combine together with each other is truly amazing. Let me see how many shades I did not use. From the Secret Garden 1 palette, I think the only shade that I did not use is this sunflower shade. And from the Secret Garden 2 palette, the only shade that I did not use is this freesia shade. This pink shade, or did I use that? I think I did not use that. But that's the only two shades that I did not use from both of these palettes. And I feel like all the shades that I used have performed extremely well. The way the shades are shifting, I cannot even tell you. I feel like this is such a beautiful addition to your collection, especially if you love these color stories. I feel like you are gonna be in love with these palettes. So let me show both these palettes together so that you can see both of them in action. I feel like they're extremely beautiful quality. Again, the Secret Garden 1 will retail for $59 and the Secret Garden 2 would retail for $61. And you can use my code SMITHYSONY to save you 10% off. Now, once you've seen all the three looks in action, do let me know in the comment section below, are you going to pick up these palettes or not? Of course, I mixed and matched both of these palettes to create this eye look. I also want to show some images on the screen so that you can see how you can combine these palettes together. Actually, Kryptein Cosmetics reached out to me, and the way they put these palettes together, they look so beautiful and so summery also. Like especially that yellow green color story that you're seeing, that is going to be amazing for summer. I really love it, and the pink purpley tones are such a romantic color story. I cannot wait to mix and match these palettes together. And let's not even forget about the packaging of the palettes. I love when they do this like rainbowy kind of color story on the packaging. It's very reminiscent to the other palettes also in their collection, which also has a very similar like a rainbow texture to it, like a faux leather texture to it. Let me show you these palettes against each other so that you can see if it is similar to each other or not. So the first palette that they had was the Burnt Forest palette. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't make it fall. The bottom one is the Burnt Forest. Then we have Secret Garden 1 and on top we have Secret Garden 2. So that is a comparison for the Burnt Forest palette. I feel like when I see it all together, I don't see any overlap, which is a plus point, a big plus point in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is the Violet Crazy palette. Now I feel like Violet Crazy might be similar to the Secret Garden 2, but we'll see. Okay, there you go. We have Violet Crazy on the bottom, Secret Garden 1 in the middle, Secret Garden 2 on the top. Now Violet Crazy is also a purple leaning palette, I would say. So you can see the similarity if you feel things are similar to each other or not. And I also know that Violet Crazy has one shimmer yellow shade there. So let me see in person if anything seems similar or not. Maybe Heartbeat and Carnation from the Secret Garden 2. I would say Carnation is a little bit more deep as compared to the Heartbeat shade. And let's see this Fated from Violet Crazy versus Iris from Secret Garden 2. Still a little different. Fated, I would say, is a little bit more periwinkle leaning, but definitely not similar like but the yellow shimmer is totally different. Let's see Violet Crazy as a shimmer versus Petunia. let's swatch this and see, okay? Yeah, let's swatch this and see, because this looks similar in my fingers. So this is Violet Crazy and this is Petunia now. Petunia definitely has like a blue purple shift to it. This is Petunia. Oh, you don't even see it. And this is Violet Crazy. It's different. It's definitely different. Look at the shifts. Yeah, I would say it's definitely different. And the new one definitely has more shiftiness happening there. Okay, that's good. That's good. And I don't think there's anything similar with the Atlantis palette, but let's see all of this in action. So there you go. Atlantis on the bottom, Secret Garden in the middle, and Secret Garden 2 on the top. So nothing overlapping there, which is amazing. We also had two smaller eyeshadow palette. One was the Tulip Dream palette, this one. And this I feel like, yeah, I don't see any similarities there. And we also had the smaller Alta palette. If I can open these things, man. This was the Alta palette. And I don't think there's much similarities here. But all of these palettes will go so well together. That's my favorite part about Kryptein Cosmetics. Also keep in mind that all the Kryptein Cosmetics shadows are magnetic. So you can definitely mix and match these shadows to your heart's desire. And you can create some beautiful, beautiful color story. I love a good magnetic palette. You guys know it. They also sent 3 single shadows my way. I have Fairyland. Let me open it and show it to you, and I'll do live swatches for these. Let's do this. This is Fairyland. Definitely my cup of tea, because you know I love a good purple shadow, and this looks amazing. Let me swatch it. So smooth too. So that is Fairyland. I see at my end, I see blue and green, and you see purple. Very smooth. It has like a strong green shift too. Oh, I cannot wait to wear this on my eyes. So pretty. If you guys want to see all of this in action, do let me know. I have this shade, which is Sour Candy. Looks like such a beautiful holochrome. Also has purple. I definitely see purple on my end, and a lot of holographic particles, but you see green. So like a green to a pinky purple shifting shade, but a lot of tiny holographic particles. That's my favorite thing about holographic shadows. When the shades are more like finely milled, I love that. Okay, and then last, certainly not the least, this is Popping Candy, which definitely has a lot of shades going on, but I see majority like a green to a pink. Also another holochromy shade. Oh my gosh, so vibrant. So that's Popping Candy. I see a gold, but you definitely see pink, purple, blue. So those are the 3 single shadows they sent my way. I am so thankful for Kryptein Cosmetics to enter my collection, because they have some beautiful, beautiful shadow, and I'm a proud supporter of Kryptein Cosmetics. Again, these palettes are launching on March 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll leave all the details in the description box below for you guys. Do let me know out of the 3 looks which one was your favorite. But that's all for today. If you did like my video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And ring the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.